All right, so we're going to talk about habits, and I'm so excited about this because I have been reading a book called Atomic Habits. If you've never heard, go ahead and download that ASAP. Super important. This is so good. Seriously, I love this book, and I think I'm almost done with it, but it's so good. Like, even from the very, very beginning, I was obsessed with it. So it's one of my favorites, and it's been changing the way that I look at things, different things, and the way that I'm able to communicate them with other people. Because I feel like I have like all of these ideas before, like I understood the concepts, but never knew how to articulate them. And this book has helped me with that. So I'm going to explain some things that I've learned through this book with y'all tonight. Really quick, I just want to ask if you are able to turn on your camera. Will you do that just so I can see your beautiful faces instead of black boxes? That way I can hang out with you and feel like I'm not just like speaking at you, but hanging out with you instead. That'd be super fun. Okay, so basically let's talk about habits. So what you do is super important, okay? Every single day, the work that you're putting in makes a difference. And sometimes we don't think that it matters, right? I was just talking to my leaders about this a second ago, and we were talking about how the things that we do actually does make a difference long term. And we think that today if we just miss messaging, or today if we just miss our self-development, or today if we miss our journaling, like it's just not going to make that big of a difference, but it honestly does. And I'm going to put my blue light glasses on because I just love my blue light glasses. I need them. Okay, so they make a huge difference, and they make an impact long term, even though it's just one day, because those things that we do every single day, or things that we don't do, compound over time to create the future that we want, or that we don't want. So if you want to do anything in life, whether it's to become a millionaire, or to lose weight, or to gain more knowledge or wisdom about a certain topic, the things that you do matter every single day. Yes, it's like the compound effect. And so that book is another really good one. And these go hand in hand because it's the things that you do every day that make a really big difference. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. Even the little things that you don't realize are important are. Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple of notes that I have from this book that I wrote down, and it's going to be life-changing. So go ahead and grab some like notes, grab a pen and paper, take some notes on your phone, whatever, because you're going to want to remember this so that you can go back and refer to it, because it's a lot to take in. So you don't have a ton of time to spend on this one topic. Okay, we're going to move on quickly. So one thing that he said in this book that stuck out to me a lot was, it's not just like one defining moment in time. Like, you don't just choose something and it's like one defining moment in time where you chose this thing and you started doing this thing and everything changed and everything good happened in that moment. It's usually just the little things, the 1% changes that you do every day over time that end up with you where you want to be, right? So he talks about changing just 1%, and what starts as a minor change or a minor setback leads to so much more. So it can be positive or it can be negative. So if you're wanting to lose weight and you just eat one cookie, then the scale's not going to change that much, right? But if you have a cookie every single day, then that is going to compound over time, and it's going to create a habit that you don't want, which creates results that you're not wanting to get. But it's okay, Carly. I literally have a cookie on my desk. Don't feel bad. That's why I keep talking about cookies, because they're right here. But he also talks about like the good things. So like if you are wanting to lose weight, or if you're wanting to do really well with this business, and you do your 6 list every single day with this business, even though you may not sign a customer that day, you doing the things that successful people do, which is being consistent in the tasks. When you do that, over time, you're going to get where you want to be. And you may not see those results immediately, which we'll talk about in a minute, but you will see the results. So a minor setback, or a minor, thing that is the minor good thing, it leads to so much more, the minor change or the minor setback, either way. So the next thing is, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. And so little differences daily, you won't see that. Like, you don't, I mean, again, like the cookie example. If you eat a cookie right now and you go step on the scale, like, you're not going to gain a ton of weight. You're not going to gain 10 pounds from that. Or if you don't eat the cookie because you are trying to lose weight, and you go and step on the scale just because you ate a salad or ate really healthy one day, you're going to step on the scale and it's going to look pretty similar. But daily, you don't see the big differences. Daily, if you take a picture in the mirror every single day of how you look, daily, it's not going to change much from yesterday to today. But from today to 6 months from now, it's going to make a huge difference. So daily is a lot different, but weekly it does. So that's why it's so important to continue to be consistent even whenever you don't see the results. Because often we slide back into our previous routines because the results didn't come quickly enough. Drop a 1 in the chat if that's what happened with you with working out or eating healthy. Because let's talk about that, because this isn't just about the business, and we'll get to the business too, but this is like with everything in life. You try to do something for the first time and then you don't see the results immediately and you quit. And that's what I do all the time with working out and exercising until this year, and it has made such a big difference. And start-stop effect, it just continues to push you back where you already were, and you can never get past that point because you always get right back to it and then quit again. So with this business, it's the same thing. I hear so many times people are like, oh my gosh, like, okay, but no, for real this time, I'm going to go diamond. No, but for real this time, I'm actually going to put the work in, and I'm so excited. And then they're so pumped up, they're so hyped, they're so excited, and then a week later, I never hear from them again. And I'm like, what happened? It's because they wanted the work. They wanted the results that I have after being consistent for 5 years, and they wanted that in a week. And it's like me saying that I want the results of a CrossFit athlete.
Headphones.
Guys, make sure that you stay muted, please. I get super distracted every time that happens. So whenever I look at a CrossFit athlete who's been doing this consistently for hours and hours a day, for 5 days, 7 days a week, and I want that result in a week, it's just not going to happen. Okay, so you have to be realistic with your goals and know that they're going to take time, and don't quit whenever it doesn't happen immediately. The other thing that it talks about is this example of this plane, and how if you have an airplane that's leaving I think it was Dallas airport, but they're leaving Dallas airport. Okay, you have this plane, and the nose of the plane is directly headed straight towards New York City, right? And it's going to land in New York City. But if you took that plane and you shifted the nose of the plane just 3.5 degrees, that's not very much at all. So 3.5 degrees, and you took that plane from Dallas and just continued to go towards the direction of New York City, but with a little tilt of the nose, you're going to end up in Washington, D.C. So even though that little tilt then didn't make that much of a difference, over time as you travel, it does make a difference, and it completely ends you up in a different state where you didn't want to be. How many of you have ever made tiny little changes in your life and now you've ended up where you don't want to be, and you're like, how did I get here? Put a 2 in the chat. You don't have to say what it's about, but I think a lot of us have felt that. And you're like, whoa, how did I get here? Whether it's good or whether it's bad, you're like, how did I get here? Like, this is so crazy. And it's because you were consistent in those good things or those bad things, and it led you right here. The other thing is, it doesn't matter if you're successful or unsuccessful right now. I'm going to say that again, because so many people are so focused on the results that they miss the daily work and the habits that it takes to get the results. Stop focusing on the results, start focusing on the work that it takes to produce the results, and you'll have both. So it does not matter if you are successful or if you are unsuccessful right now. What matters is, are the habits that you're doing today and are the habits that you did yesterday putting you on the trajectory to be successful? Because none of us want to be unsuccessful, so I'm not even going to use that as an example. We all want to be successful. So are the things you're doing now putting you on the trajectory to be successful? If it is, then it doesn't matter where you're at right now, because you know that's where you're headed. You know that that's where the nose of your plane is pointed. Now, if the nose of your plane today was pointed this way, you're already off course a little bit. So you need to adjust that and keep it at that same exact degree so that you can end up in New York City and not in Washington, D.C. And I'm really bad at geography, but I don't think that those things are super duper close together. So that 3.5 degree angle just changes slightly. Like, it's not even like if you were looking at a plane and then they moved it 3.5 degrees, you probably wouldn't even be able to see it. Just like whenever you don't post today, you probably don't even see it. When you don't message today, oh, it's fine, I'll just do it tomorrow, because you don't even see it. You think that it's fine if you don't do your self-development and don't write down your affirmations today because it's just one day. That day makes a difference. And the actions that you do every single day make a difference to whether you're going to be successful or unsuccessful. Because here's the thing. Right now, I don't care what your bank account looks like. I don't care what your schedule looks like. I don't care what your household looks like, how crazy or empty it is. If you show me your calendar, or if I were to follow you around for the day to see what you did every single day, I could tell you within one day if you'd be successful 10 years down the road from now or not, based on the things you're doing today. Now, obviously, you have the power to change that. So if what you're doing today is not working and it's not on the path to success, you get to change it, but only you can. Like, I'm not going to sit here on this Zoom and just because I'm speaking these words, it's not going to just change it for you. You have to make the decision right now that you're going to start doing the things that it takes to be successful, and then stop quitting when it gets hard. Stop quitting when the results don't come immediately. But I can follow you around for one day and I can tell you if you're going to be successful, not because of your bank account and not because of what your chart looks like, but because of the habits that you have every single day. Somebody who wakes up before their kids and journals and does their affirmations, yeah, they're going to be successful. Because from that, I already know they're going to message. I already know they're going to post. I already know they're going to do that. Why? Because their mind is right. Because they started their day off. They made a sacrifice and they woke up early. That's somebody that's going to be successful. Somebody that talks to their team and works on, yep, I was thinking about Emily too. Thinks about all these things, and they talk to their team, they work on their leadership. That's somebody who is going to be successful. And it doesn't matter if they have negative $5 in their bank account right now. They're going to be successful because of the things that they're doing right now because they know that it matters today. Okay. The next thing is be more obsessed with your current trajectory than your current results. How many of you are more obsessed with your current results right now? Definitely me. Because I get distracted whenever I don't see the results. Like, here's the thing. So I know we have Kelsey's team on here too, which is cool because last week I had my team on her Zoom, and what we talked about was the color personality, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. But we talked about, she mentioned that we overestimate what we can do in a year, but we underestimate what we can do in 5 years. So this is me right here. Like right now, I've grown and learned so much over this last year. I've implemented different things. I've tried new things. I've been, growing in my leadership. I've been doing a lot of things. And a couple of months ago, I sat here and I was like, where is the results? Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and nothing has changed. Why haven't I seen any results? And I was getting frustrated. But then Kelsey said that, and I've heard that before, but it was so timely for me in that moment that I needed to hear it again. That, you know what? You overestimate what you can do in a year and you underestimate what you can do in 5 years. Because it's not just a month from now that everything's going to look different because of the things I implemented in the summer. But 5 years from now, my team and my paycheck and my volume will be drastically different because of what I changed over this summer and continue to implement for the next 5 years. So that was huge for me. Because right now, I feel like I'm so focused on like, well, I've done this, where are my results? Instead of saying like, this is what I've done, and it's pointed my nose in the right direction of the plane to be the trajectory of where I want to go. Like, I know where my destination is, but is my nose of my plane pointed in that direction? And if it is, you're going to eventually get there, right? You're going to eventually get there if you continue to do the work that it takes. So if you want to be a millionaire, are you focused on the results of that? Because none of us are a millionaire on this. I'm pretty sure, unless you have like I don't know, whatever. Maybe somebody is. So most of us are not a millionaire. And if you want to be a millionaire, then are you on the trajectory to do that? Well, I can tell you right now, you're in a company where you could be a millionaire very easily because we have so many people who are in the Millionaires Club. And if you want to lose weight, are you on the trajectory to doing that? Or are the habits that you're doing bringing you further away from that goal? If you want to have more knowledge, are you working towards or against that? Because you're choosing one or the other. Because remember, Mark Pentecost, our CEO, he always says you can never coast down, Sorry, I just ruined it. You can never coast upwards. You can only coast down. If you put your car in neutral and you're on like this like little bit of a slant, you're never going to coast upwards. You're always going to coast downwards. The other thing is that time will multiply whatever you feed it. Okay, so time with good habits over time is going to compound for you, and it's going to make time your friend. So I know that time, over time, I'm going to be able to make more money. I know that my investments will grow over time. And I know that the people that I message now, over time, they'll eventually order, or the work that I'm doing now at the gym may not make a difference today, but over time, I know that it will. And otherwise, though, on the flip side of that, bad habits will compound against you, and time will become your enemy. Think about somebody who is a smoker, and I'm not like downing anybody if you are a smoker, but he uses this example a lot in this book. And so if you're a smoker, you may not notice a difference right now or from one cigarette or from one day, but over time your skin may look a little darker, or you may have like a cough or something like that, like that over time you do notice the difference of being a smoker versus just day to day, right? And so it compounds against you. That might be a negative thing in your life versus, or like gaining weight instead of losing the weight that you want to lose, and not being as healthy as you want to be. The other thing is that I was telling my leaders today too, because it was crazy, like whenever he was talking on this book about like continuing and like being consistent and persistent, he talked about this like threshold and this breakthrough and this like what did he call it, the barrier of latent potential. And so that's what he talks about. And he said that breakthrough moments are often the results of all the previous actions. All the previous actions that you did. He did like a stone, it's like a stone worker, like that was his analogy. Whatever it is, where you like hit like a miner, basically, where you have like all this gold and they go and they hit the stone with a little hammer. And he hits it, and he hits it 101 times. And on that 101st time, he breaks through that wall and he gets all the things that he was going in there to get. But it wasn't the 101st hit of the hammer that got him those results. It was every hit that came before that all together. And on that 101st hit, you saw it. So there's like this breakthrough moment, but it led up to that point because of everything you did before that. So it's like, they talk about the bamboo. So if you have these stalks of bamboo, it grows roots so deep for years and years and years, and you don't see any progress. Like you plant this bamboo seed, whatever, and you don't see any progress for so long. And it looks like there's nothing growing. It looks like it's dead. But it's not dead. It's not buried. It's just planted. And it's down and it's growing roots. And the Lord is growing those roots in you right now. And you don't see it yet. You were planted here, and it works. God is growing the roots deep within you because he doesn't want you to be a dandelion. He wants you to be a bamboo stalk. And we'll talk about a little bit about what that is. So he's growing roots that are deeper. And you see all these other, you see all these other people. You look over here and you see these people who are sprouting up, and you're like, oh my gosh, they literally went Ruby in their first month. How did they just do that? Or, oh my gosh, this person just went ambassador and that was my goal. And I didn't hit it and they did, or, I want to hit this goal and everybody else that I see is hitting this and they're sprouting up and they're dandelions and tulips and roses and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting here. Like literally nothing has happened yet, but I'm doing the work. But nothing has happened yet. But God is growing those roots so deep within you. And you know what happens to bamboo? Is that after years of not growing, it doesn't do anything at all. And then within 6 weeks, it's 90 feet tall. So God doesn't want you to be a dandelion or a rose or a tulip. He wants you to be a freaking bamboo stalk, 90 feet tall. But sometimes you have to have the roots, because if you had a bamboo stalk with some dandelion roots, that thing's going to fall over. You have to have the strong roots to hold what God has called you to be, right? And that could be, the roots can be a lot of different things, but you have to trust the process and know that it's going to have this breakthrough moment where it immediately shoots up. but you have to allow that to grow beneath the surface first. Habits seem to not make a really big difference until you cross this critical threshold, and that was the threshold or whatever of latent potential, and you unlock this new level of improvement. But we expect it to happen overnight. We expect it to happen and look like this. And if it doesn't look like this, if our success isn't just like a straight line like that, then we get frustrated. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever done that. If you're like, oh my gosh, like I just hit a trial, I'm so frustrated. Okay, we've all had trials. We've all had things we've struggled with. And Kelsey told this analogy before, and I'm sure she got it from a book, but it was talking about a speed bump, you know? And if you have this speed bump in front of you and you see it and you know that it could happen and you prepare yourself for it, then you can slow down, you can push on the brakes, you can prepare yourself for it, and then you just go over the speed bump and then you continue going. But if you don't see the speed bump and it's there and you're going and you hit it at 60 miles per hour, you're going to be a little jolted and like, whoa, what just happened? So expect the hardships. Expect to not want to message every single day. Expect to hear no. Expect for people to ignore you. Expect for your friends and family to just beat you down for doing something like this, because they don't see the bamboo, but God's growing the roots right now and they just don't see it on the surface. And so then they tell you that this isn't worth your time, that they haven't seen any difference because you're not making the money yet. And where is the money? And they're just like beating you down for what you're doing when you know that it's coming. And you just haven't hit that threshold yet, but as soon as you do, you're going to shoot up 90 feet in 6 weeks. And I believe that that can happen for our team. I literally believe that God is going to change lives even in just 6 weeks with this business because of the things that you've done all in this whole like planting season. So we expect it to be like this, but we're not, and it gets frustrated, and we get frustrated. But success looks like this. It's just a bunch of squiggly lines in an upwards direction, right? Just like all over the place. But we know that if we continue to keep going, even through the ups and downs, it's going to continue to go up. But we have to go through the hard stuff too. So sometimes it doesn't feel like you're going anywhere at first. But so you start, then you don't see the results right away, and then you stop. Who's ever done that? You like, okay, drop a 2 in the chat. If you're like, yes, that's me. Like, I have started this, and I've been like, yes, like, now I'm going to do it. And I do it for a solid 2 weeks, and I don't see the results, and then I just stop. And that can be with anything in life. It doesn't even have to just be with this business. So you have this start, stop. And it's like the stone wall guy that I was talking about earlier with the hammer. He hammers it on the 101st time, and he hits the treasure or the gold or whatever it is. But so many of you stop on the 100th hit, and you're so close to that breakthrough, but you stop on the 100th hit and you walk away. And then you come back up to the wall, and that wall is built up again, and you start cracking away at it. And you're like, no, but really this time. No, but really this time I'm not going to quit. No, but really this time I'm going to do it the right way. No, but really this time I'm actually going to message. No, but this time I'm going to be consistent. This time I'm going to do self-development. And then you hit it 100 times and then you stop. If you had hit it one more time, you would have been able to hit all the way through and gotten the gold. But you stopped just before you hit your breakthrough. And the work that you're doing is not being stored. It's not being wasted. It's just being stored. So everything that you're doing right now does matter, and it does make a difference, and it will make a difference in the things that you want to do in the future. But you have to truly believe that the things that you're doing are not wasted. Because it feels like it in the moment, or it can feel like that if we don't have the right perspective, but we know that it's just being stored, and we know that every single thing that we've done up to this point is going to matter. And so many people are waiting for boom season, and you're waiting for January, and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, when January hits, like, I'm going to start working so hard. Or like, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited for January because then I'm actually going to be able to sign people. Well, people are signing people right now. People are enrolling people right now. And so if you feel like you're sitting back and you're just chilling and you're waiting until boom season, and you wait until January, like, boom season is right now, by the way. People are buying presents for Christmas. People are having Christmas money. So they're getting money for Christmas that they want to spend on something. So it's going to burn a hole in their pocket. So you might as well be the very first person to message them on the 26th and say, hey, I know you wanted to get your order in. Did you still want to do that now that you have the money from Christmas? Like, if you start waiting for January to get started with this business, to really get, a jump start and to get going, you're already 2 weeks behind. You're already 2 weeks late. The work that you're doing right now, even though you may not see the results, is storing up, and it's going to produce that fruit in its time. But if you're not storing up anything and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so excited for the harvest. I'm so excited for boom season. Honey, I hate to break it to you, but you're not going to have boom season because you didn't plant the seeds whenever it was the harvesting time or planting time. And so now you don't have anything to harvest or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm really bad at that. But if you're not planting seeds, you're not going to grow anything. So that is why you can't just think that everything that you're doing is wasted. It's so worth it. The other thing, the last thing I want to talk about on that is passive motion versus action, okay? Because so many people, I feel like, are in this like mode of, okay, like I'm going to prepare and like I'm so excited. This is kind of what I was talking about before where you're like preparing for boom season. Not exactly sure what you do to prepare for boom season. Like I don't really know what that looks like. You just start planting seeds and that's how you prepare for boom season. But so many people, like they sit back and they like plan everything out and they get like super, you know, like analytical and they get super like bogged down in the details of like how things are going to happen and they don't take action. And that's called being in motion. You can be in motion but not be in action. And so here's the thing, here's the difference. Motion, action. With motion, you're overanalyzing everything, you're preparing everything, you're doing all of these things that are not income producing activities, but you're doing things that feel like work that don't produce income. And then you wonder why you're not actually getting anywhere. And you have no clue why you're not enrolling, you have no clue why you're not promoting, but it's because, and you're exhausted because both are moving. Like you're either in motion or you're in action, either way you're moving. But one is going to make you exhausted with no results, the motion, and one is going to make you excited with results because you're taking the action. You're doing the things without knowing exactly how it's going to happen, but doing the work anyways and knowing that you're going to fail and figure it out along the way. And that's what I would challenge you to do because so many of you right now are in motion and you're like, I'm working so hard. And I'm like, how many people are you messaging? And then you're like 5 people a day. I'm like, how often do you work a day? Like how much? You're like 4 hours. I'm like, you work 4 hours a day and you've messaged 5 people. There is something wrong. What are you doing for the other 3 hours and 59 minutes? What are you doing? And they're like, well, I'm doing this thing on, you know, YouTube or whatever. And like all of this stuff, but you're not actually taking action. So if you want the results, take the action. If you don't want results, keep moving in motion and doing the things that prepare and that don't produce income because they're not the same thing and they produce very different results. So make sure I have everything. Okay, yeah, the last thing I was going to say, and this is from that book too, he said, you don't want the habit, you want the results. You don't want the money, you want what the money will do for you. You don't want a message, but you want to message because you know what that will give you. You don't want to work out, but you want the endorphins and how you feel when you do. You don't want to eat healthy, but you do want to feel confident whenever, you know, in the summer in a tank top. Whatever it is, like you do want those things, like you want the results, even though you don't want the habit, but you have to have the habit to create the result. Okay, so now we're going to move into just like a couple of quick tips for posting, messaging, and enrollment and time management. And this is going to go into questions, okay? So as you think of questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and we will have time a little bit later to answer those questions. Okay, so posting. Let's talk about that because I was talking to a couple people this week on my team who were saying they were struggling with posting. And I was like, okay, are you struggling with what to say? And a couple of them just said like, well, I just don't have any pictures. So I was like, okay, then go take pictures. And for that, what I would do is I usually do like a photo shoot. And my photo shoot is literally just me with my little tripod from Amazon, $10. Get it for Christmas. Ask for it for like a stocking stuffer. $10 on Amazon. and it's a tripod for your phone. And so I literally, like, if y'all go look at my Instagram or my Facebook today, like if there's a picture of me with a coffee mug sitting by the tree, didn't take that this morning. I took it yesterday in the house by myself with my tripod. So you can have these little photo shoots, and then after that, I put a different sweater on and put some jeans on, and then I went and sat like in a different spot in my house and took another picture. And then I put a different shirt on, same jeans, with a picture with Nala. And now I have like 3 pictures for this week to put on my Instagram and on my Facebook, and it literally took me 15 minutes. So quick and easy, but you have to make it a priority and like think about it. Like a lot of times you have to like retrain your brain. Thank you. You have to retrain your brain to remember to take pictures. So whenever you are out with your friends, think about taking a picture with them. Or like, oh my gosh, you see a cute wall while you're downtown shopping with your friends. Hey, take a picture of me up against this wall. Things like that. Like, be aware of your surroundings and think about the places that you can take these pictures. And you know what? A lot of times, like, I'll literally go and take pictures. So I know that a lot of us don't have time, but make the time to do it. Whenever you're out on date night, take a little portion of that and say, okay, while we have the babysitter, let's go find like a couple cute little places over here by the restaurant, and let's take some pictures by this tree, and let's take some pictures by this little fence, and like, I'm going to use it as content on my Instagram. You can do that. But be aware of your surroundings so that you can think of places to take pictures. The other thing with posting is that you should set them up the night before. That's what I do. Like the caption that I put up with that post I took yesterday, I wrote it last night. I didn't write it this morning because I knew that today I would be super busy. And even on the days that I'm not busy, I somehow end up getting super busy. And I end up getting like distracted, and I forget to post. I forget to make a really good caption. I don't want to just throw something up there. I want it to be really good. So I set it up the night before, and I even take time too, random days in my week that I know are going to be a little less busy, and I'll write like 3 posts on those days. Or I'm feeling super inspired, like the day whenever I wrote all these notes down from that book, I was super inspired. Like that would be a day where you would write those things down, just randomly, just jot down some stuff. And I always tell my team too, whenever you're out and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good, like I love, like I just came up with this idea, jot it down. Don't write the post yet, but jot down the idea so that whenever you do have time to write some posts, you'll think of different things. You can go back to that little list and you can make those posts from that list. So I'll show you how to schedule your posts, guys. It's so easy. Literally, all you do is go on Instagram and you go to the little plus sign down here at the bottom, like you're going to go and do a picture, like normal. And then you go and pick a picture that you want to post. So I'll just do this one. And then you click, this is one of the ones I did yesterday. You click next. Ooh. And then you click next again. And then you type in your caption. You say whatever you want it to say, blah, blah, blah. Then you click the back arrow. And then you click the back arrow again. Oh, wait, sorry, I didn't type anything in. Then you click OK. Okay, and then you click the back arrow again, right here, back arrow. And then right here it says delete or save as draft. And you're going to click save as draft. And then when you go to this little part right here, oh, I hate doing this backwards. Then it says all of your drafts. They're all up here, so I can go in. This is all my drafts. And I have all my pictures saved, and then they all have captions. So now, if I'm ever in a pinch, I can go and post one of those. And that's what I do for every single day for my posts. So you need to be setting up your posts, because if you're not, you're definitely not going to post if you get busy, and you're not going to be intentional about taking pictures to post. And you want your pictures to be bright because it is important that they're eye-catching. The other thing is posting to figure out what to say. Ask yourself this: what value can I add to my followers? Who am I? What do I love? And what am I good at? And talk about those things and incorporate the business somehow. For example, if you're like, I'm a mom. Okay, so I'm a mom and I love being able to spend time with my kids, and I love that we're able to be able we're able to take our kids to be able to play at this like trampoline park. So I know Kelsey did this, so this is where I'm getting this from. We're able to take them to the trampoline park anytime that we want to because of the extra money that I'm making from this, from my phone with this business. And if you're interested in making an extra income so that you can do fun things with your family, then you're able to, I know I get so distracted, I'm getting distracted from the chat, and I have it closed too. But anyway, so you can talk about those things because you're a mom and you're going to relate to moms in that moment. People want to be able to do things for their kids. Most people can't. So you're offering them the opportunity to be able to do that. Think about like, what am I doing today? Probably like nothing, like I'm not doing anything because that's like the hardest times whenever people are like, well, I literally didn't do anything but go to work and school, or I didn't do anything but stay at home with my kids. That's a post right there. Talk about how you're able to work this business in between your busy work and school schedule. Talk about how you're able to work this business with your kids running around at home like wild banshees. And you're able to do this because it's freedom of time that this gives you. And you're able to have the friends, because maybe if you're a stay-at-home mom, you didn't have very many friends before because you're at home all the time with the kids. And now you've met friends through this business. Those are all things you can post about. So if you really know who you are and what you do and what you love and what value you can add, then you know what to post about. So it's just about thinking about those things. Another thing that's going to help you with that is journaling. I always talk about the power of journaling. Start journaling and you're going to be really, really good at thinking of things to post about. Okay, and the other thing is just like go look at other people's posts that they're making, like other top leaders. Don't take their posts. Do not copy and paste their posts, but go and look and say like, oh, Jade Hooper talked about this in her post today. Or like, oh, Kelsey talked about this in her post. Like, that's a good post idea. Maybe I can like talk about something to do with marriage too. Or maybe I can go and talk about, staying at home and drinking keto coffee like Morgan did today. Or whatever it is. Like you can get ideas of like, oh, that's a good topic. And then you can go write your own post. The next thing, let's talk about messaging. Okay, people are always like, who should I go message? And I made this whole entire long post on Dare to Be Diamond of who you can message. Okay, it was a detailed, like, just trying to get out of the
box.
box.
Can I hop in real quick on posting just for a hot second?
Yes.
I just give you a break too because you're over here preaching. I figure you might need like a sip of water or something. So no, I was just gonna say on posting, you guys, I think for so long I struggled because I was like reading all of these posts from people that look like bloggers, and I was like, bro, I can't write like that. Like 4 years ago, you guys, I told somebody, my team, this the other day, I was posting a picture of my kid's butt, putting it next to a bottle of Fat Fighters, thinking that I was so clever. And I was like, rolls are only cute on kids. Order Fat Fighters. Okay, you guys, I did not know what I was posting. But I say all of that to tell you that you have to start somewhere. And if you are pretty new and you feel like, I can't write like Morgan, like, I don't know how, Alyssa or Stephanie or whoever you're following that has amazing posts, like, we didn't start there. Okay. I'm just going to tell you that. But if you are really wanting to make like kind of like a deep business post, the best place to start is to ask yourself what your pain points are. And by that is like, can you capture a moment in time? Our brain thinks in pictures. Okay. And so every time I write a post that's like going to be a deep post, I try to think with myself, like, what picture am I painting in this? And my best posts are the ones that I tell like a story in, but the story is from a moment. So like, it could be like a picture of my daughter walking into school and I'm saying, I remember when I had to drop her off at daycare for the first time. That's a pain point. How many other moms do you think can relate to that? If you remember, if you're pumping your gas and you remember, I remember when I could only put $15 in my tank at a time because my bank account, that's a pain point. But how many other times do you think that people can relate to that? If you are still in that situation, talk about how I am so excited for the time when I'm gonna be able to pay for a vacation for this business, or when I'm going to be able to pay for every single thing for Christmas that I can afford, and talk about where this business is going to take you. Okay. Because it's not an excuse that you're not there. That's actually the reason why you post. Okay. Because somebody else is going through it, and you don't have to sit there and air all your dirty laundry about how poor you really are. Okay. We're not asking you to do that, but what we are asking you to do is to say, what is something that I want to do with the money? Because the money by itself won't motivate you. the money is representative of something. Even you Reds who think it's the money, it's not the money. The money is representing some sort of hierarchy. The money is representing freedom. The money is representing the fact that you're never gonna have to stress about that. Okay, it's what the money is representing to you. And so figure out what is a pain point that you went through. What is something that you struggled with at this business, and the money and the freedom and the income and whatever else it is that can provide you, that you want to change or it has changed. And so hopefully that helps, because sometimes I think it's like she said, I didn't do anything. You didn't do anything today. We're not asking you to talk about today all the time. We're asking you to talk about something else. Like most of the time when I post some about what I'm doing that day, but I'm also posting about things that have happened in the past and previously, and the times that I remember struggling, because that's what people connect to. People don't look at me now and say, I joined, oh, because she's earned all this money in bonuses. No, they join because they want to earn all that money. They join because they see what I've been through, but they don't know that unless I tell them. And so, like Morgan said, the reason journaling helps, though, you guys, is because it allows you to process your thoughts. It allows you to say, oh gosh, I remember that time that happened, and that's how it made me feel. And so don't let your feelings like be your master, right? There's a quote, it says, feelings are great servants, but horrible masters. And what it means is that let your feelings, use your feelings to connect to people, and use your feelings, let them be your servants, right? But don't let them rule you, just like she was saying, in your habits. Don't say, I don't feel like doing this today. I don't feel like posting. I don't feel like that. Do you think that I feel like being a parent every day? No. And all of you moms out there can relate. There's sometimes you're like, can I rent you out for a day? Okay, I just need a day, right? Like, but there's other times where it's the best thing in the world. And it's the same thing with this business. It's the same thing with this business. And so I just needed to jump in, because I think posting, that's like something that like people lose the sight of, is like, oh, it has to be this easy thing. It has to be this thing that comes so natural, and it doesn't. And it's progress, but there's some authenticity, you guys, in sucking at first. Like, you're gonna suck, and that's okay. It's okay to like let people see your growth, and not have these really lengthy, wordy posts that you want to put up. Like, if your posts are 3 sentences, that's fine. Post 3 sentences, but let it come from you, and let it be real, and let it be like just who you are. Yeah, anybody want a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old? They're up for auction. I'm just kidding. I love them. Okay, thanks.
No, that was so good. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into messaging. So, who to message? I think that's like the biggest question that I get, because a lot of us know like what to message, but we don't really know who to message. And if you don't know what to message, just message them and ask them if they would be willing to, hear more about this business opportunity. Would you be open to learning more about what I have my hands on? Would you be open to learning more about a way to make an extra income? I know you may not need it, but everybody wants it. And that way you don't have to say like, hey, are you broke? Do you want money? Because it doesn't have to be somebody that's broke. A lot of the top income earners didn't join this business broke. A lot of them joined just because they wanted extra. They wanted more. They wanted time, and they wanted friends or freedom. So message people about that. Ask them if they want to be a product model. Ask them if they want to try the products. Another way, the people that I do message, because this is what I get the most questions about, is I message my friends on Facebook. So there's so many things you can do. You can do host to post through that. You can message just like a message about being a product model. Message people who like your posts. Message the people who comment on your host to post. So if you have somebody that hosts a post for you and people are commenting on that post, obviously you message them, but message the people who like that post as well, because they may not be interested, but a lot of them are, and they just don't want to comment. Another thing is to post about a host to post giveaway. Talk about hey, drop your favorite emoji below, or drop your favorite Christmas movie in a gift below, and you'll be entered to win our gift card giveaway, or whatever giveaway your team is doing. Instagram, message your new followers, message your old followers, because you can actually click following on your Instagram and then change the settings from default or earliest or latest. And if you go to the earliest, it's going to show who you followed the earliest since you've had that Instagram account. And you can scroll down and you can go and unsend and resend messages. If you're blocked on Instagram, this is a really great thing to do because it doesn't count as a new thread. When it says action blocked and it won't let you message, it won't let you message a new thread, but you can message an old thread. So if you unsend and resend a message, it will let you do that. Message new people that you follow, even though they may not be following you back. I feel like with Instagram now, as long as you're creating that relationship, it doesn't really matter. Because for me, I message people who aren't necessarily following me back, but I've commented stuff, like I've replied to their
You want to stand up?
I've replied to their Instagram stories. I've commented on their stuff. I've liked their stuff, and they message me back and they are interested. The next thing is message people who vote on your polls. Do polls on Instagram, so make sure that you're doing that. And then message people who view your stories, because that's a really great way to go back through old people that you may have messaged like a couple of months ago or a couple of years ago, and then they weren't interested then, but now they are, because a lot of times they change their mind. Everybody's situation changes every 6 to 9 months. And so if you've messaged them like within that time frame, or I'm sorry, after that time frame, if it's been longer than 6 to 9 months, then you could go and message them again and they may have a completely different answer for you now. So those are people that I would message. And then the other thing I was going to say too, and this is huge. So I sign a lot of customers, and I actually sign a lot of distributors too, but with my customers, I think that the biggest thing, and I went live on our team page about my follow-up system. That's one of the reasons why I sign so many people. But the other reason why I sign so many people is because I always send a before and after picture of the product that they're interested in. Drop a 2 in the chat if you always send a before and after picture. That's not very many people. Okay, so we're going to start doing that, because if you're not sending those before and after pictures, they have no visual. They have no idea what that product is going to do for them. And if that before and after picture can be yours, bonus points. Because they may say like, oh, that person photoshopped their stuff. But if it's yours, they can never argue with your own before and after pictures. Never. So share what this coffee has done for you. Share what the Thermo-Fight X has done for you. And if you're like, well, I'm brand new and I don't have any of my own results yet. Okay, well, we have tons in the Connect app that you can use. We have tons in our team page that you can use until then. But that means that you need to be using the products. If you've been in this business for 4 months and you're like, well, I've still never really tried a product, then run your auto shipment. Start using the products. Be a product of the product. Get your own before and after results. Send pictures with the products that they're interested in. And for the Just Celery, there's not really a whole lot of before and after pictures for that. There are some, but I just send a picture of a selfie with me and the Just Celery. And with the lash serum right now, because we don't really have any results pictures of those either, and I have extensions, I just send a little graphic that I made on Over of the lash serum with like a little blurb of what it's about, again, so to reiterate everything and they can see the packaging. Visualizing, like that's like what Kelsey said, like our brain thinks in pictures, so give them a picture. They're gonna connect with it more. If you're not signing up customers, start sending pictures. I guarantee if you're messaging enough people, if you're talking to enough of the right people and you're saying the right things, I guarantee you'll sign a customer this week. If you have not been using before and after pictures, then you start. Guaranteed. Okay. Let's talk about enrolling. So the biggest thing is right now with enrollments, if you feel like your enrollments are down, ask yourself how consistent you've been with follow-ups. If you're like, oh my gosh, like I've literally been doing everything the same. I'm messaging the same amount of people. I'm following the same amount of people. I'm posting just as much. I'm doing polls on my story every single day. Number one, I would challenge you to do more than what you did before, because sometimes your input needs to be different so that the output can increase. If you're inputting the same exact amount that you've been doing and the output's not what you want, if the enrollments are not what you want, change the input and the output will change. Message more people and your output will be different. You'll sign more people. But if you're like, I already do like so much, but I'm still not signing up people and I'm consistent, I post every day, everything. How is your follow-up system? Do you have one? If you do, how consistent are you in using it? Do you have a planner? Do you have a notebook? Do you have something on your phone that you're using to keep track of the people that you talk to? Because here's what I'm noticing. This is the busiest time of the year. That's not what I've noticed. It's kind of a no-brainer. The biggest thing is right now, people are busy. People are super busy. They're distracted. They have, all this different stuff going on. And people are like, oh my gosh, like this person didn't reply back to me. Okay, they probably just got busy. So you really have to be on your A game to make sure that you are following up like a mad woman. And I'm following up so much right now that I am signing up people. It's taking me like 3 weeks to sign them up because I can't get them to respond to me because they're not reading my messages because they're so busy. But because I'm consistent and because I'm watching because I'm like writing down their name and I'm keeping track of them in like multiple different places to make sure I don't forget them, a lot of them signed up today and it's literally taken me forever to sign them up because they just haven't been reading my posts. Reading my messages. And so get a system that works for you for follow-ups. And I like what Kelsey said too. She said, how's your attitude? Mine is excited. And that shows on my Instagram. That shows on my Facebook. That shows when I'm at the gym and I'm talking to people about the products. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. And I love what I do. And I love being able to share what I do with other people. And I love using the products myself. But if you're like, oh, everything sucks right now, it's just like dead and like nobody wants this, like, then you're going to be exactly right. Like if you have that mentality, then you're going to be exactly right. But if you have the mentality of, oh my gosh, everybody wants what we have. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh my gosh, these products are so inexpensive. People can't get this stuff for the same price on anywhere else. We have such inexpensive prices. And if you look at this and everything is a negative, if you look for that, that's what you'll find. But if you look for the positives, that's also what you'll find. So change your perspective. We have a really, really great product line. We have a lot of really great product lines. So go out there and talk to people about those.
The last thing is if you, sorry, Morgan, but the other thing I have to say is if you guys don't even have your auto ship on, how in the heck do you expect anybody else to purchase the products if you're not even purchasing the products from yourself? Like that doesn't even make sense, you guys. It does not make sense. If you are not using the product, if you haven't sold yourself mentally on the value that you're getting, because it's not about the price, it's about the value. I'm going to repeat that. It's not about the price, it's about the value. Because people will pay top dollar if they know the value that they're getting. But you need to understand that like they have to see you using it. They need to know, like I probably use 12 of the products a day. It's kind of disgusting. Like honestly, I'm like, well, I don't know how I got suckered into using so many products. I literally use so many products. But I think that like, it's just so convenient and it's so simple. The products that we have, that we use, that everything. And so you have to show people that you believe in the value by purchasing the products yourself. And I'm not saying this because anything doesn't benefit me. It's just me telling you that you need to know that the products work firsthand. It doesn't mean you're going to use every single product, but commit yourself to getting results with by using at least one product. I don't care if it's a freaking wrap. I don't care if it's the lash. I don't care if it's weight loss, but do something and commit to something so you can believe in the products even more, because when you're using the products, I'm going to tell you, your belief and your attitude and everything else is going to go through the roof, and it's going to be so much easier to talk to other people about the products when you are using them.
Yes, so true. Tara has a wrap on right now. That's awesome. Okay, so there I am. Okay. So the other thing that I was going to talk about really quick is Like, I mean, enrollments, like, we know how to get enrollments. Like, I mean, most of us. And if you don't, like, there are so many other Zooms on that. So I really don't want to spend time with, like, this is what you say and this is what you message. Like, there are so many Zooms on that. So use the resources and tools that are out there and available for you, and go check some out on YouTube. Go find some different videos that you can use to actually figure out, like, this is what you say. This is what we actually did a Zoom, Kelsey and I, like, a while back, and it was titled, and she made this title, but it was How Morgan McIntyre Kills It Every Month, and McIntyre is my maiden name. But she said, How Morgan McIntyre Kills It Every Month. If you want to know what I say and how I talk to potentials, go search that video in YouTube. It's on Kelsey's channel. It's exactly what I say, okay? But the biggest thing I want you to remember is that your organization does matter. And I told my team this on my live video about my follow-up system. Like, you can have the excuse that, like, oh, I'm just not an organized person. Well, I could have the excuse that, oh, I'm just late to everything, but I don't want to be that way. So I'm going to make the steps to change it. So if you don't want to be a disorganized person, if that stresses you out, or if that stresses other people out, or if it's not getting you the results that you want, then maybe you should work on being an organized person, because that is something that you can learn how to do, just like how I've learned to be on time to things. So that's a huge thing. And then the last part is just time management. Honestly, this is going to be different for every single person. You're going to have to find a system that works best for you. Oh, Kelsey put the link in there. So if you want to, like, click on that link, then you can be able to see the YouTube video of how to enroll customers. But time management is something that you're going to have to find what works best for you, because what works best for you and your family is not going to be the same for me and my family, because our situations are different. But make those sacrifices. Plan your day out the night before and figure out what it is. Like, hey, I have so much to do tomorrow, so I'm going to wake up an extra hour early to get everything accomplished before I have to go to work. Because as soon as I leave work, I have a Christmas party. And then after the Christmas party, I have to go and pack for, this trip that we're taking. If you don't plan your day ahead of time that night before, your day is going to run you instead of you running your day. And you're going to get to midnight tomorrow and you're going to be like, crap, I didn't do a single thing for my business. And because we've talked about habits, you realize how important that is. You realize how important that one day is in your business, and that it does truly matter. So that's what I want to challenge y'all with time management. Find what works best for you. And if you feel like you don't have time to do this business, if you feel like you're just so stressed out all the time, then you need to create a set schedule for yourself. And I don't mean like 8:05 to 8:15 do this. I mean, set aside an hour or 30 minutes of your day twice a day, and set aside that time to get everything done. And then throughout your day, just like in spurts, like answer a text message here and answer a text message there and respond back to people. But for the most part, all of your follow-ups and all of your things that you need to get done are done at the first of the day. Because if you're like, well, the end of the day works better for me, I challenge you to do it at the beginning of your day, because I think that it's really important to start your day off knowing that all of that's done. So worst case scenario, you've gotten the minimum amount of stuff done for your business. Kelsey and I are both night people. We love to stay up late and wake up late, but we have made ourselves to be morning people now. And because of that, we're seeing the benefits of getting all the things done in the beginning of the day. And then at the end of the day, we're already like, everything's already done. So we're not stressed out like, oh, where did all the time go? Now I don't have any time to do this because my day just got away from me. So find the schedule and find the rhythm that's going to work best for you and for your family. You're going to have to try a bunch of different things before you find what it is, but it's worth it to try. It's worth it to continue to look for those ways. So we'll answer. Does anybody have any questions? If so, we can answer like one or two, but otherwise we can hop off. I just wanted to give some time to do that. Y'all can just ask in the chat if you do have a question. Nobody has a question? It can be about what we talked about tonight, or it can be about anything with the business. Okay, well, if nobody has any questions, Kelsey, do you have anything else to say before we hop off?
No, this was so good. Thank you for letting us hop on. And I just think that, like, you guys, just the last thing I'll leave you with is, when you start having your own team and when you start doing your Zooms and your things, like, the reason that we can still do this stuff is not because we were born and God gave us special talents, but because we are using what he's given us, which is resources, which is learning, which is investing in ourselves, which is growing. The only reason Morgan knows these amazing tips that she shared tonight is because she's invested in herself and reading a book. She's invested in herself, and so she has something to teach you. But you guys have to know, like, how is your paycheck going to grow if you're not growing? It starts with you growing, because the issue is not the business. The issue is not with the time of year. The issue is am I still struggling with the same things today that I was struggling with in January of this year, 11 months ago? Am I still struggling with organization? Am I still struggling with discipline? Am I still struggling with time management? Am I still struggling with those things? Because that's not the business. That's you. And so just take a good hard look at yourself and ask yourself, like, what can I really commit to improving on? And don't act like it's going to happen overnight. Give yourself grace and be patient and learn that transformation is a process and trust that process. But know that you have to first, somebody says, you can't change what you won't confront. And so first start confronting it, and then you start the process of changing it. But it is a process. And the beautiful thing is his mercies are made new every single morning. And so we get to wake up, and even no matter what happened yesterday, no matter if we ate a Chick-fil-A sandwich and 2 Rice Krispie treats like I had today, I get to start over tomorrow. Okay. and I know that, like, it's one of those things. It's the same thing with the business. If you didn't get out as many messages as you wanted to today, wake up tomorrow and do it. Go to bed, go right now and go send out 10. You don't know that one of those 10 messages you send out tonight could be the next person who takes off in your business. Okay. And listen, last year at this time, I signed Annie, who's on here right now. Annie's from Hawaii. I signed her from Samoa, sorry. And I signed her, and she went double diamond in 6-7 months. You guys, you just have no clue. I signed her in December. Alyssa Haller, who's a triple diamond on my team, signed in December. Like, you have to realize that you can still sign quality people, but the question is, are you the right person for them? And that's up to you. So just like, the coolest thing is that we get to decide who we want to become. And so that's what I want to challenge you with is take what Morgan said and be inspired. Be inspired that she's still this on fire 5 years into her business, because she's growing, because she's different than when she came in. But the business isn't boring. You are, if you're bored. I've had to teach myself that multiple times. Okay. It's not the business, it's you. And so like, I just want you guys to continue to be excited about growing yourself, and the business and the paycheck and all of that stuff will come.
That was so good. Mic drop. We can end on that. I like how I was like, do you have anything to add? You're like, no, here's what I'm going to say. I love it. I'm so glad that you said it.